Welcome, my stamping friends. It is Tammy Nelson with Stamp and Scrap with Tammy. What I'm here today to show you is this month's Card Club class. So the October 2021 Card Club class. It happened live yesterday. My kits in the mail are going out today. And I'm actually leaving this as a public video just to really bring awareness to what my club classes are. So club classes, I feature a different bundle each month or sometimes just a standalone stamp set. This month I used the Peaceful Cabin bundle, really just focusing on the stamp set itself. Included in this month's card kit, I have got the cards that I'm going to create for you today. There is 2 of each of these designs for a total of 8 cards, 4 designs, 2 each. And then also this month, a full package of the Subtle Shimmer Sequence. We'll be opening those up in a little bit. And then also half a package of the Designer Series paper, the Peaceful Place 12 by 12 paper. Look at how pretty this paper is. And so actually we'll only need to use a little bit of this paper here. I'm going to pull this sheet of paper out right here. In one of the cards that we're making today, I'm going to share with you how I cut this paper down to make a nice simple stamping card. In my club classes, really actually all of my classes, I do focus on the casual to beginner stamper. Now the avid crafters, I have plenty of avid crafters also that attend my classes or take them to go. All my classes are available as a to-go option as well. And you know, so those avid crafters like them for a number of reasons. A couple of them just like to have a pre-made project ready to go. And some of them like to, they might be a demonstrator. So if you're a demonstrator watching and you want to take one of my classes and you're wondering if you can, absolutely. You can take these ideas because maybe you're an avid crafter and you have a hard time making a simple stamping card, you know, because that can happen. You can take these ideas and use them as your own. All right, so today what I'm going to start with, I'm going to make 2 of this first card. I'm going to make both of them for you because one, I'm going to make a shaker card. I know, I was just talking about how I make simple stamping cards, right? But now I'm going to start out with a shaker. So I'm going to make 1 shaker and 1 not a shaker. So first I'm going to start with the one that is not a shaker. And so in the card kit, I did not include the acetate. You can add that on your own if you want to make this a shaker. So I'm going to share with you first just the non-shaker. So if you got the kit, you can be creating right along with me. Push pause as you need to, do whatever you gotta do. And I'm just gonna put these all together because I am going to, in next week's email, so if you happen to be watching this kind of real time or, you know, in the week that this video is happening, I will be sharing these card measurements and detailed pictures in my weekly email. So you join the VIP list. That is listed in the first comment here. And then next Tuesday, again, real time, next Tuesday, it'll be October 26, 2021. This pictures of all of this in the tutorial. It's a very basic tutorial, just basic measurements will go out to everybody on my email list. And so I'm more or less just assembling these cards for you today, giving you a little entertainment while hopefully you are crafting yourself. So non-shaker, all I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a piece of Designer Series paper that's cut by 3 by 4. I took my rectangle dies and just cut it out of the front of this. So I'm gonna flip, I want the snowflakes to be in the front. I'm gonna flip that over and then I'm gonna put this right on top of there. That's all there is gonna be to that, okay? And so let's just put a little adhesive down. This is the non-shaker. We'll do the shaker next. So if you want to make yours into a shaker, you just need some acetate, any kind of plastic. The acetate clear sheets are the best. And they are in the Stampin' Up! Catalog. And let's go ahead and adhere that down. Great patterns in this Designer Series paper. Okay, so see, I have that all ready to go. And now I'm just gonna put it right in place. So it just gives it a nice little frame. So you'll see how beautiful this is, whether you do a shaker or a non-shaker. You've got options, there's always options. And you can even create something totally different if you'd like. And I'm just going to place that down in the center. And then next, it looks like I got an extra frame here. So sometimes that happens too. You get a little bonus product. Okay, and so now with my layering circles, I've cut out a few circles just to add some more texture to the background of this. And next I'm going to, I gotta figure out what I'm doing here. I don't even have my sample card nearby, so maybe that's not the best idea. So now as I created these projects, I ended up with a lot of scraps. So this is just a 1-inch scrap that was left over from another card. I'm gonna just tear that little piece to give it a little bit of texture. I believe it was like a 3.5-inch strip. Maybe I want to tear it a little bit more. And yeah, there we go. So now I'm gonna adhere this to about the center of the circle, maybe a little bit down from center. And then I've got this beautiful silver trim. There's silver and gold trim, one of my favorites. If you've been stamping with me before, you know this is definitely one of my go-tos. Something I use all of the time. This is my own, I should trademark this, although somebody else probably has. But this is like my own favorite little technique to add texture to my card. I love little petite ribbons. And I'm just gonna fold it around my fingers about three to 4 times, making a circle. Now I have a nice circle there, twist it. I make either what I call an 8 or a lasso, depending on what you wanna call it. And then I'm gonna just tuck that down there. And then what I'm gonna do, is add some trees. Do you see there's actually like no stamping on this card? So if you got my card kits, the idea between my card kits and classes to go is that you can get them and be successful at home without having a whole mess of products. You know, of course, many of you probably do, and you can pull from your stash. I need to grab some mini glue dots. So if you've been stamping for a while, you know, maybe you're not in the market for a new tree set, but you have a different tree set. You'll see I'll be stamping with some trees in a minute. So you'll have success with any of the card kits I send you typically because, and I'll let you know if you have to have something, but because you can usually improvise with something you have for the sentiment and things. So don't let that worry you when you see like, oh, well, I can't do the Peaceful Cabin class because I don't have that set and I don't plan to purchase it. Well, you can get all these consumables cut and ready, and then you can add, so like all these are cut for them, and then you can add your own little spin on it. Okay, I'm gonna just get the tiniest sliver of a dimensional here to put onto this tree. And let's push that down there. Now need another one. I need more dimension than what I thought for my petite little trees there, because I don't want them flipping up all over the place. So I'm just gonna cut another little sliver here for the top of this tree. Always options, and then I'll put one down here. Okay, so isn't this pretty? So this is a non-stamping card. We're still gonna add some sequins to this. And then I will go through and show you how to set up the shaker card. I probably won't do all the decorating business there, but I will definitely show you how to do it. Okay, so let's bring in the sequins. This is my technique, how I prefer to put sequins onto my cards. I take my Take-A-Pick tool, I got the poke end, or use the end of your scissors. But you're gonna see why you'd like this idea if you haven't done this before, and how quickly it goes. I'm gonna put 5 on or so. I don't know. Put however many you want. I like 5. I like to go in uneven numbers. 3 didn't seem enough for this one. So now I can just kind of spread these out. Hope I had adhesive on that end. That's not going to work. I'm going to take my putty end, stick it right into my sequin jar, and you see how fast this goes together. Oh, got to make sure you got it on there though. And there we go. There's like really sparkly ones, and then there are ones that are frosted. So these look like snow. So in the video, it might be hard to see how great the frosted ones were. Cool. I added a couple extra on that one. There's like different sizes too. So I've got small ones and big ones. That one I got 2 on, which works great. So that finishes off just making the card regular. So beautiful, nothing wrong with that. This is how I made it originally. But then I thought, you know, of course we have these sequins. We should probably just attempt to make a shaker. And then I gotta try to remember, I made a video earlier and I forgot to show them. I was like all excited to show how to do sparkle paper, and then I didn't do it. What was I thinking? Okay, so let's do the shaker now. Let's make this happen. So what you gotta do is a window acetate sheet you have to add. Again, this was an after fact, so those getting kits to go, you're gonna wanna find one of these, okay? So the window acetate sheets, either if you have them in your collection or just find a piece of plastic that you can put over this. Okay, so I have this cut like so petite, and I'm gonna just make sure I get that adhered first, okay? So I set it on there and I'm actually taking my tape runner. You can also, one of my preferred things is tear tape, works great for this as well. But since I have such a small piece, this is how I'm gonna do it today. Yesterday when I showed everybody how to do it at the live class, I did use tear tape on there. So both works great. And let's see. And let's see, now I'm gonna use these foam adhesive strips. These are a little bit higher than what the dimensionals are. So these are definitely the preferred way to make a shaker card. Okay, there we go. And next, we'll put these, and it doesn't matter how your shaker looks here, okay? So you don't have to go, you know, all the way up to the edges. You can leave it down just a little bit. And now see, I have a little too much here. Just wanna make sure you don't have any holes. That's the only trick to a shaker card, is that you don't wanna have any holes in your window. Much like a regular window, you don't wanna have any holes. And let's go ahead here. See, I got a little excess there. And so these are called the foam adhesive strips. And now I know I just need one more little sliver here, so I will just trim. I don't think I made that quite long enough. Trimming this up. And one more here. And that will do it for that part. So next up, we just have to add the background. And so I'm gonna put this just the same as I did on the other card over the top of my tear tape here. And so what I'm gonna do now is put my sequins in. So putting the sequins in, very easy. You just dump them in. Not too many, because you want it to be able to shake. If you go overboard, it's not gonna shake. But be pretty generous, because you've got like thousands of little sequins here. You're never gonna use all of those. So might as well put them in your shaker. But again, not so many that it's not gonna move. You don't want it that full. And ever so gently, I'm going to tear these off now, because, you know, if my sequins start to shake up, they start to pop all over, then they get stuck to the adhesive strip. So that's why I'm being very gentle. See, oh, it just happened a little bit. That's okay, as long as I don't get it too much. And be very careful for this one. Okay, perfect. And I'm going to move this little sequin here with my take a pick. There, okay. And so now it doesn't really matter directional wise, because my snowflakes can't be upside down. But if you had a card that you were making a shaker that it mattered, you, oh my goodness, you'd want to make sure that you had it properly positioned at this point, if the direction mattered. But it does not on this card. Look at this. So I tell you not to do that, and that's exactly what I do. Okay, so gentle, gentle, gentle. Now I'm going to just place this right over the top. And then what I like to do is, because I don't want my shaker to be droopy, so I take another piece of tear tape, just a small one, and I put it on the top here. And then I take another one and put it on the bottom. And so of course that's not only going to act as adhesive, but it's going to hold up the card base so it doesn't get droopy. We don't want a droopy card. And then I'm gonna go ahead and adhere this now. And we can put a little bit of adhesive on that center part. And that is how you make this shaker. Isn't that so fun? And now we just have to decorate. And you know what? You can forward through this if you don't want to watch me decorate another card, but I'm going to just very quickly go ahead and adhere the rest of this to the card, because otherwise what's going to happen is I'm going to finish the video today, I'm going to get busy, and then I'm not going to finish it. So I am going to go ahead and finish that. Okay, so perfect. So now just quickly, now that I have a sample to look at, I should be able to do this very quickly. And let's tear this little piece. Now you'll see like fast motion. Now that I'm not explaining this step by step. So in the kits, as you see, a lot of times I do have extra supplies. I'd rather be a little generous. So probably could get another card out of this ribbon or trim. The trim, that's what it's called. It's not really ribbon. It's more of a thread. And let's adhere that and trim. And then we've got these cute little trees. And then I got to remember that wink of Stella. Have to remember the wink of Stella. And let's get our dimensionals all set up. Let's see, looks like I'm running out of the ones that are already pre-cut. So do you see there's no waste when you're using dimensionals, because you can trim them, all the edges off, and really make, that's what I use. I use the edges when I want to make different sizes. Like here, I want just a little sliver rather than a regular size or a larger one. And that's exactly how I use the edges. Okay, and then I'll put the large one in the center. So isn't that nice to see just the difference in these two? So I think anybody that is watching along, whether it be the card club attendees for this month, or if you just happen to be catching the video to just see some beautiful cards using the Peaceful. It's more just the stamp set that I'm using today, but there is a bundle too. And I'll get to exploring that in the next month or two more. But this is just initially what I decided to create with the Peaceful Cabin bundle. It's just some very simple stamping cards. So look at that. Isn't that nice and simple? Now, let me just do the wink of Stella. I probably won't do both of them to save your time. Now, if you're in the Stampin' Up! World, you know, things go on back order. That happens. Our glimmer paper is currently, we have a black glitter paper. Now, of course, that is so stunning, which is why it's on back order. But now in a pinch, if you need your own glimmer paper and you can't get that, here is an alternative. Now, is it quite as great as the glimmer? I don't know. Maybe not, but I think it's a pretty close second if it's not just as nice. And so here you are, just color the edges. And I do it after I have it attached, so I don't have to, you know, feel like I need to color the whole piece of black, because I probably would. I'd use a whole Wink of Stella pen if I could. And there we go. So just add some Wink of Stella to the edges of any of your black paper and you've got instant black glimmer paper. And so that is the first card from the card set. Now the next cards, I'm just gonna make one because I wanted to share a regular card. And then if you want to add an acetate sheet behind and make a shaker, you are welcome to do that. And if you haven't ever made a shaker, now you've got a great design and layout that you can use. You can add any decoration down there. I use the stitch rectangle dies to make my, cut out my center. And you'll see, let me see if that'll be the next card. Why don't I go ahead and share that next? So when I had that stitched rectangle die here, it made this. Of course, I couldn't let that go to waste. So now I have our next simple stamping card. And I have got that on real red for my card base. And let's go ahead and just fold those and use our bone fold to do the, I don't know, the bone folding to flatten my crease out, I guess is what that would be a better term. And again, I got my basic black. I've got some designer series paper all ready to go. Now, sometimes in the card kits, you do have to cut some of your own designer series paper. There is one card actually today that we are cutting our own designer series paper for our kit. Oh, look at me. Now I just started doing both. It was not intentional, but you know, once I start to adhering, things just go from there. And I'm going to go ahead and you know, I got all these envelopes. All the cards do come with envelopes. Let's move those aside. I won't be needing those just yet. And we'll go ahead and put that layer on. So this color combinations, when you put all of these cards together, it's just outstanding. And then I've just got another background of one of the patterns. So that's where you'll see the beautiful patterns. And I'll just put that down there. So lots of layering on this card, lots of use of designer series paper. And then let's put this one this direction. So we've got trees, we got snowflakes, we've got texture in here. We got buffalo check. If you wanted to play with the other side on that, you could certainly do that too. The stitching is on this side, so that's my preferred way to use it today. And then I thought, just for fun, because I wanted to pull the red back in one more time, I grabbed this little label. I believe it's from the Tasteful Label dies. There's some different die cuts in there, and I love these circles. So that is going to go right there. I'm going to put that up on dimensionals. I might as well just cut this whole sheet. So I'll put that on a couple dimensionals, and then I'll do my stamping. Now, I might have to do the stamping a little out of view because it is a more petite one, so it has to be, I have to be like right over the top of it. So hopefully I can make that work today. And my counter's just a little bit high for my liking for this kind of stamping. So I'm gonna actually move it out of view for a second. I think you might be able to just see it just a little bit. Oh, hold on one second. Hello? Oh. Hello? Okay, so I'm on a video right now. Okay, sorry about that, friends. I had somebody picking some stuff up. And okay, so let's get back to this. So we are going to just go a nice straight up, straight down. There, now I can bring it in view. And perfect. And now I'm just going to, excuse Melody there. She gets a little excited when people stop by to visit her. She thinks they're here to see her. She doesn't realize they're probably not. I did in the kits leave these pretty generously on each side. So I'm going to just trim them down a little bit and then adhere them just like so. And of course, we do need to add some more of those sequins to the card. We can't have all these sequins and not use them. So we'll bring in our glue dots. I should give you an after picture of how my area looks. It was nice and cleaned up when I started. And so hopefully when you're done creating your 8 cards, well, not hopefully you're neater than I am, but I would gather that it's probably about the same. If, you know, most people, you start creating and, you know, maybe you decide to grab a different sentiment out or a different ribbon or add something to it. And before you know it, you got your whole area torn apart. Okay. Anyways, that's how I operate. I don't know. Maybe you don't. And so I'm just going to grab my sequence right out of the bin with that putty end of the Take a Pick tool. It's like I got an extra one. I'll just move that one over to there. And I got 2 there. Perfect. I got more of the frosted looking ones here. I could have picked through if I wanted more shiny ones, but I like to mix them up a little bit. So that completes the second card. I'm going to move the supplies out of the way. And then I'll bring in our third card. So these are going to go together pretty quickly after we got that first one out of the way where we made both of them. This one, let's go with this nice simple card here. And then I will share with you the one where I have to cut the designer series paper last. So we have basic black. So very minimal as far as other supplies, only using 1 stamp set. I believe I just have 3 ink colors is all that I required, and you wouldn't even have to have 3. You could do it with less. I did use the Tasteful, goodness, I have to remember. You'd think by now I would know this. Tasteful Textures embossing folder. Now, I should have been thinking a little bit more clear when I made this card class up. There is a beautiful wood grain embossing folder called the Timber 3D embossing folder. And you know, the picture probably doesn't do it justice or like the video, but there it is. So I did make one up this morning with that one as well. But in the card kits to go, I do apologize if you ended up with, which this one looks great, but you ended up with the Tasteful Touches because I just wasn't thinking. But if you wanted to re-emboss it in a different texture, if you want that, if you have that timber, that one looks good too. And if you're just creating these on the fly after you see this idea because you love it, any texture is gonna work for you. And so I got lots of extra pieces here. So that happens sometimes in the card kits. Hopefully it happens where you get extra, but I'm sure every once in a while I miss something too. I'm only a person. All right, and basic black here. Okay, so if you're watching, you're liking these cards, do make sure you join that VIP list. In the first comment, there's a link to that. And that'll take you to the join page for the VIP list where I send out weekly tutorials on Tuesday. And I'm going to share these cards. It'll be next, let's see, Tuesday, October 26th, 2021. So if you happen to be catching this video in real time, that's when this is happening. And that's when this email will go out. Okay, I'm going to put that to the left of there. Those cabins are just so stunning. Not that I want winter to come any sooner than what it's going to, but wouldn't that be nice and cozy to spend some time at a cabin that looks like that? Okay, and I'm going to bring in a little sheet of scratch paper here so I don't get my surface all stamped up. And let's go ahead and ink that up. So there's these 3 beautiful trees. Again, I'm going to get more into using this stamp set in the next month or so to do some other elements from the bundle. But to keep things nice and simple today, I'm just using the trees. I am stamping pretty much just, well, only 2 of them, onto a layering circle die, just layering them up actually. So I have like a little bit of texture to my circle. Again, you could do that with any tree. You wouldn't have to have this tree if you have another tree. So the idea of the cards that I'm sharing today and in this card club are to show the casual to beginner stamper, some successful layouts, designs, uses of designer series paper and things like that. And to show you, you can use a different stamp set with this and you're still gonna have wonderful, beautiful, beautiful cards. And let's put some dimensionals on here. And I should see, so this morning I did make this card on just a regular video with just 1. And I used the gingham ribbon on that video. In the card kits, it is the glitter black and silver. Within this bundle, there is some white, also a good option. And I'm going to put that down to the right. I'm going to add in that ribbon if it's handy. Here it is. And I'm going to put it down with a glue dot. I'm going to start with 1 glue dot. In about the center. And I'm just creasing it over. So nothing fancy, no fancy bow tying going on today. And then we just need to stamp this little label. This sweet, sweet little label die came from the Hippo and Friends die cuts. So of course the Hippo and Friends, you may look at that and go, well, that's very, more childish. There's like a unicorn in there. But in that set of die cuts, there's beautiful different size labels. I'm going to try that one more time. I did the same thing earlier. I need to be closer over the top. I mean, that's not terrible, but since I have 2, I'm going to try another one. Okay, looks good. And so now I will put this onto my card using some more dimensionals. So as you see, dimensionals are definitely a must for me. You could lay all these flat if you wanted to, but I love adding a little pop of dimension to my cards. And then let's add some more sequins. And then we just have one more beautiful card. I'm hoping I might break into the other room here and leave you guys hanging when I'm done with it so I can share with you another card that I made using the same exact layout as this next card. And this one I'm also going to be sharing with different designer series papers. I'm really enjoying that layout. And let's just reach back in here, get some sequins out. And so if you want your embellishments to go a long ways and you want to, you know, I mean, only have to have one, look at this. You're getting the look of a gem, but you got like hundreds, if not thousands of little sequins there. That finishes off the next card. So let's go with our last but not least card. And I will need to make room here because I will bring in the paper trimmer for the next card. Okay, so let's get out the basics. Our basic supplies here. These labels also came from the Hippo and Friends. So I'll show you a little technique there, what to do. Because look, those are all the same size. We're gonna make them layered up so that we have 2 layers. I'll set out, I've got some real red ribbon today for this card. And then basic gray. So basic gray, black, and red are the only colors of cardstock that I used. And let's get this ready, and then I'll bring in the paper trimmer. That way we have a few of these parts moved out of the way. Okay, so this is the pieces that I will be using. So actually just a couple little tips that I'll be sharing with you today with this card that you might find helpful, or maybe you haven't thought of them, or you have thought of them and you've forgotten them. And so let's go ahead and start with, I don't know if it'll all fit on screen, but you'll get the idea as we go. And so I'm gonna bring in my paper trimmer. I'm gonna cut from the top. So I'm gonna go on these measurements here. So first what I wanna do, because I wanna get these trees down here, but it doesn't quite work. I need to cut it 5 by 3 3/4 is what it needs to end up. But just eyeballing it, it was kind of difficult to cut, you know, all in one shot. So I cut it down to 6. I started with 6. So with my tree end, I'm gonna put that other piece aside, which is ultimately where I'm gonna get this piece. I'll try to remember to tell you that as we go. But now I need to bring it down to 5. Now, if I cut it right to 5, I thought, gosh, those trees seem a little short. So actually what I did, I snipped off just a little bit more on this end. And now I'm gonna go to this side. You can do it however you want to though, because ultimately what I'm trying to get, I want these trees right here, okay? Those are like the golden trees. And so I'm gonna flip it now, and I'm gonna go, so do you see when I'm doing this? I'm nudging my paper all the way up to the top of the paper trimmer. This way is not the way to go, okay? That's not the way to do it. The way to do it is to go from here. So I know I needed it at 3 3/4, right? So I'm gonna just go up to 3 3/4. It's flat up here, so I know it's gonna be straight. If I try to go, some people like to go from here. Now, can you? Sure you can. But what are the chances of it going a little bit off? Pretty good. So if you want it to be nice and even, tuck it all the way up to the top. That's what the lip is there for. And then go ahead and do your cut. And I will move the trimmer aside and really just play with the trimmer. It's a beautiful tool to have. It's a wonderful paper trimmer. You can cut from the top, the bottom. There's a handle that comes out to make it go to 12 by 12. It's a wonderful trimmer. Okay, so now we're just gonna, matter of layering the card. I mean, this right here, it's just a great combination. It's just so elegant. And so this designer series was 5 by 3 3/4. And then what I did was I took a strip, a 1 inch by 3 3/4 strip from this leftover paper up here, kind of the sky. And I'm gonna make this be my border. It's like I had a jumper. My jumper sequins just got onto my adhesive from that shaker card. Okay, and so I'm gonna put this kind of down towards the left, or not the left, down towards the left. That didn't make any sense. Towards the bottom of my card. And then I'm going to add, this is like another no tie bow here. So I'm gonna just take 1 strip of my real red ribbon. I'm gonna flip it over to the side. Let's see, let's make sure we get it adhered. Like so. And now I'll finish my adhesive, of course. I just wanted to make sure I got that part stuck down first. And now I will stick this down. Do you see how that's loose, which is exactly what we want. We don't want to adhere that. Because I'm going to take another piece of this real red, like so. And I'm going to tuck it right underneath there. Okay, so this is for all you non-bow tying folks out there. And then I'm tying it in a knot. Simple as can be. And now I just have to trim my edges off. And you have got the most simple bow. Well, maybe next to, well, the other one I wouldn't really consider a bow, but next to the ribbon where you just flip it over like so. So there's lots of different ways to use ribbon. I would encourage you not to shy away from it because it certainly does add just beautiful, beautiful touches to your cards. So we are moving along. Now we're going to do our stamping on here. Let's bring out real red. So you see, I didn't clean this after class yesterday, but that's okay. And I'm going to use real red onto, this is a die from that Hippo Happiness die cuts. And I'm just going to gently ink this up and straight up, straight down. So sometimes, you know, you might look at this stamp in the stamp set and the die cut and think, goodness, that die doesn't look big enough for it, but look at how perfect. It was like it was meant to be. But I do always like to have a little bit of, you know, layering. I love layering. So as you see, most of the time I always have a back layer to my dies, whether it be a stitch die or something like that. I do like to have a back layer. So, you know you guys just saw me have my paper snips. It just absconded. Like it walked away. There's nobody else here. There's nothing else in here. Where could have it possibly even gone? How about under my real red ink pad? Is that something how that happens? Okay, so the last little element that we want to do or thing to finish this off is we're taking the black one, exact same size as that, and we're going to cut it down, right down the center. Okay, I'm going to leave that top side up, put my adhesive on two edges here, okay, and then just flip it over and layer. That's it. And now it's like double duty die. And then we'll adhere that with some dimensionals. Like so. And add sequins, and that's going to finish the fourth card off. Are these just not so beautiful? If you haven't been excited yet to make your Christmas cards, I bet after seeing these, you certainly are. And there is so much more to come. And again, if you're watching this like in real time and you're thinking, it's not quite time for Christmas, but guess what? It will sneak up on you before you know it. So if you would like to make your handmade Christmas cards, now's the time to start making your plan. Maybe you're not going to start creating them yet, but you know, make your idea, get your products, decide what you want to do. That way you'll be all set to go when it's December rolls around and you won't be struggling and, you know, let it slide by. So if you want to get into this, get started now. And we will be, I believe, doing some Christmas cards for our November card club. So feel free to get onto that VIP email list, and then you'll get all of the notifications for upcoming classes. They get sent out every Tuesday with that tutorial. And of course, anybody is welcome to take them. Again, I talked about, I'd like to focus on, because my style is casual to simple stamping for, you know, the casual stamper or the beginner stamper. But again, if you're an avid crafter and you just want a ready-made project, you are absolutely welcome too. Whether you be a customer of mine or maybe you're even a demonstrator and you just want to try something out, maybe get some ideas for your own classes, feel free. Everybody is welcome to take part in the Stamp and Scrap Tammy classes, events, you know, Facebook Lives, YouTube, all of that. I do appreciate you all watching today. I'm just trying to give you a nice view of these cards. I hope that you enjoyed these cards as much as I did enjoy making them for you. And that is going to finish it off today. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day. We will see you all very soon with another Stamp and Scrap Tammy video. Take care. Bye-bye.